86-85, Missouri holds on to beat Arkansas in the basically final seconds there, with Jabari Brown getting the driving layup and then Arkansas missing at the other end. Matt Michaels, this one was a barn burner.
Well, it was kind of crazy. It was a little silly at times. Neither team could make stops in certain runs throughout the game. You had Arkansas with 5 players in double digits, and still Mizzou able to pull out this win by an 86-85 final. And you have to look to the two stars again, Clarkson and Brown. You had Jabari with 27, or Chef got Jordan with 27 and Jabari with 25. Can't speak enough about their efforts, and especially getting to the line. Mizzou shot 38 foul shots in this game, and they only missed 4 of those. Arkansas did not match that number, and that's the reason the Tigers were able to win.
75 free throws in the game. Mike Anderson called the way the game was called disruptive. Frank Haith didn't take the bait. What do you think of the way the game was called?
It was awfully tight, and I think maybe just with the knowledge that these two teams might have a little bit of love lost on the floor, or not that much.
No love lost.
I'm forgetting my idioms, but you get the point. There's not a lot to say that these two teams like each other, and there were some heated moments throughout the game, not between coaches like we saw last year here on this floor, which was kind of an interesting interplay. We didn't see that so much. They kind of settled it on the floor, and the officials were sometimes calling fouls that maybe weren't, and vice versa. It was kind of all over the place. Helter-skelter, you're just glad to come out with a win out of one of these.
Did you see an increase in the defensive intensity? I know that was one thing that we did not see in the first half against Ole Miss.
Well, there were times, especially in a 10-0 run for Arkansas, where it looked like maybe that wasn't there, but especially the final 2 stops that Mizzou had in this game. You had one where you forced Arkansas to step out of bounds when they had a 1-point lead. Then you go down and you get the shot that Jabari Brown was able to make in the lane, spinning layup with 10 seconds left, and then you force a 10-second defensive possession, and you hadn't done that too many times in the game, at least consistency back-to-back. But you were able to do it when it counted, and Frank Haith praised his guys for getting those 2 stops at the end of the game, as well he should, because, let's be honest, it kept their NCAA hopes alive tonight.
Not only that, but you saw a good game out of Tony Criswell, 3 out of 4 shots made, a couple of good possessions in a row. He brought them some defensive intensity, especially when they needed it, because they had some guys who were in foul trouble early.
And Criswell looked for a time that he might be hurt. He actually favored one of his elbows after going down hard earlier in the game, and then came back with the sleeve on and played the rest of the way. 6 points and 6 rebounds for Criswell. That was a good sign, something encouraging that we hadn't seen from him in a while. I thought Rosberg was set up to have a really great game, but he was stuck on 8, mainly because he got in foul trouble. And there were so many Tigers in foul trouble in this game. At one time, there were 3 Tigers who had 4 personal fouls. Only Wes Clark, ended up fouling out of the game, so a good job by Mizzou in that regard, considering the number of fouls that were being called in this one. And listen, any way you have to get it done, you get it done. This is a Missouri team that's now scored 80-plus in 2 straight games, but you can't be encouraged about the defense when you're letting up 80-plus against 2 other teams who aren't necessarily elite. I'd call Ole Miss closer to the elite side of the pack than Arkansas, who's been on the bottom half of the SEC all season long. Going to have to shore that up against Tennessee on Saturday, because they have a bruising front line, and if you let them score 80-plus points, it might be tough to match them.
Missouri returns the favorite of Mike Anderson as they, this time, slip out of the back door with an 86-85 victory.
You couldn't wait.
I couldn't wait for
You
that
couldn't
one.
wait.
Over Arkansas, 86-85 the final. The Tigers take on Tennessee at the 17-7 record on Saturday here at Mizzou Arena. You'll hear the game, of course, on 96.7 KCMQ with baseball on KTGR this weekend. For Matt Michaels, I'm Palaszczuk on the Zimmer Sports Network.